before in the last video, it was maybe delayed. And I want to say maybe basically to cover my ass because it hadn't been confirmed yet. But yes, I have officially won the Fell for It Again award. I thought that it wasn't going to get delayed and that they should change the thing. I was completely wrong. I'm an idiot. Let's listen.
I suppose it's out there in the ether, but Creator Clash is delayed. Creator Clash is delayed to a date far in the future. For me, this is a huge bummer, not only because I was bringing out a bunch of my family, but I was losing weight at a lightning clip. I was losing weight at a fucking lightning clip. And I got down as low today, so I suppose.
So this is a fighter that has been training for 6 months. They've probably been on a very strict diet. He says he's lost weight, and oops, all canceled. Oops, no show. And it's not just the fighters that are going to be a victim of this. It's also the fans who bought tickets. And, you know, there are people saying they can't get a refund. You probably still get a refund. I'll be real, guys. I've dealt with airlines a lot. If you show up and you just are annoying enough, you can kind of get whatever you want. But the point is that doesn't absolve anything. The point is that this is a decision that's been made 20 days out, and we still don't even have technically the official announcement. The reason why I'm counting this as official is just because this guy is part of the fight. Like, he's not... he could be lying. That would be hilarious. But this is... You know, I'll take this as... I would hang my hat on this being true, because this guy is part of the fight. It's the first time someone actually associated with it will say it. Now, when he says postponed to a date far in the future, I kind of feel like that means never, which means someone's going to be holding the bag. Someone's going to be holding the bag for the cancellation of the venue. And I guess it's not going to be Ian and Anissa, because from the little we know, it seems that basically they just got their equity paid out, which means they're, again, running all the way to the bank while this event is going to tank, and there's going to be, you know... They'll say there was money for charity because of the stupid Hassan streams, but not from the event itself. And, you know, the real funny thing about this is the only people that this is going to hurt, other than the fighters, are the final denizens of the Ian bunker, right? The only people who are still holding tickets to this and going to go were the people who made it through all the hoops of, I'm okay with him being a cuck. I'm okay with him going back on Content Cop. I'm also okay with him associated with Hassan. I'm also okay with him going back to Content Cop. I'm okay with him shitting on a friend of 10 years. And I'm okay with him saying the skulls are humorous. Like, you have to be that exact fan that makes it through all those little rings to get to the point where you get screwed by this. And that kind of makes me feel a little less bad about it, because I feel like if you made it through all those wings, it's sort of like, wow, like, what did you think was going to happen? So, last thing. This is just Ethan, of course, just continue to shit on them. And this is just funny because it's just old statements about how iDubbbz is cheap, he doesn't pay for his dates' dinners, and it's like, okay, whatever, that's just gossip, right? But then there's this clip of Anissa just straight up confirming it. Also, this was back when she had implants that she later removed. She had Ian pay for implants and then pay for them to be have him pay for them to be removed, which is just like a diabolical troll.
There was a TikTok that came out from a girl who went on a date with Ian before he met me, and she took lurk photos of him that he didn't even know existed. It really hurt him to see that. He was just trying to date, and this girl he didn't know that those photos existed. I showed him, and I was like, did you know that these photos existed? Because it doesn't look like you knew. There's one of him from behind, and she like took a picture of him from behind in the parking lot, and another where he's like looking at something and she took a picture. Yeah. She said that he took her to Cheesecake Factory and he didn't pay, which I totally believe.
So, she totally believes he didn't pay. She just will not ever not take an opportunity to shit on him. Now, you may say, okay, well, that was a more recent, or that was an older clip, right? So maybe it's gotten better. Now, as we can see, we're about 5 tattoos later. Well, more than that, like 10 tattoos later here. So this is a more recent one.
Standards, that's true. Beauty standards, that's true. But so I asked him, because to me, like, honestly, if I were to like rate Ian honestly, I would say like 9.5. Like, literally, The only thing that would make
Wow, that's the nicest thing she's ever said about him.
him like, you know, 0.5 hotter is if like he fucking his breath didn't stink all the time or whatever. Like literally, I really
Imagine saying, yeah, so he's a 9.5. Unfortunately, his breath smells like shit all the time. Like it's endemic.
do think like he's a 9.5. And so I asked him like,
Who needs enemies? Like, why does this guy need to make enemies of Ethan when he has his own wife to do it for him? Yesterday, I showed that Will Neff announced the delay of Creator Clash, finally confirming what Ethan had dropped as potentially true. And now we have even more comments. This video is very funny because in this video, this is another fighter, Jay LeRae, who's basically going to make like 4 directly contradictory statements in a row, which you just love to see. And I don't even really blame her, honestly, because of how much of a shit show this is.
Also, hey, speaking of IRL and meeting, I do need to let you guys know. The official announcement has not been made. However, I believe Will Neff has announced it, and maybe possibly some other people. Creator Clash.
So I like how she is being spurred to make this statement, not by Creator Clash itself. It's not like they finally sent out a message said, hey, everyone inform your audience. She's being spurred by someone else who did it on their own recognizance. So it's just total chaos behind the scenes. You see here, place your bets, it'll be California, obviously. All these people are from California. They're going to have to give up some concession to them. What's funny is that, you know, on the one hand, it's good for the event because the Tampa Bay Lightning Stadium is obviously way too big. The problem is that obviously doing business in California is a shit show, so.
Clash is being postponed and will not, I believe, none of this is set in stone. I don't know anything, I just bought.
I don't know anything. So I'm pretty sure she says they're transparent and then says, I don't know anything.
And will not, I believe, none of this is set in stone. I don't know anything, I just box. I do know. They are being very...
I don't know anything, I do know. Like, I don't really even blame her for being this confused, because it's like, she's trying to walk 2 tight ropes here, which is not screw over her fans, but also not shit on the event. But it's kind of impossible, because the event has screwed over the fans.
Transparent with us, but we also... But they are, you know...
They're being transparent, but I don't know anything.
But they are, you know... I don't know what I want to say, because what if I say something and then they say something different? You know,
this is what I mean. Is she doesn't want to shit on the event, but she also wants to like look out for her fans. You just can't do both.
I mean, but Creator Clash is being postponed. It's not going to happen in June. It's not going to happen in Tampa. So yeah, Creator Clash postponed. Will not be in Tampa. Will not be in June. However, you know who is going to be in Tampa in June? Me. I'm going to be in Tampa in June. That's right. I am.
So there's speculation here that the reason why the fighters are still going to be in Tampa is because all of the preparations done to do the like galas and stuff that they blew all the charity money on last time, they're still going to do, which is crazy.
I'm still going to be there. June 28th, the weekend of June 28th, myself and all of the mods are going to be in Tampa. We will be hosting meetups, events. There will be things happening. So if you are going to be in Tampa...
I mean, it's also possible she's just going to like make good for like with her fans who are flying out. But I also think that the gala thing is real.
That weekend, because you already got your ticket, your flight, your hotel, whatever. We'll make the most of it. I'm still going to treat it like a nice little summer trip with gang. So... I know, really shitty news. However, I think under all the circumstances and everything that has happened over the last however many months, this is the correct decision. At the end of the day, we are trying to raise money for charity.
Yeah, and then they throw the charity in your face, even though this is not a charity event, has been proven to not be a charity event over and over again.
And we want to do everything possible to raise as much money as possible. I don't know what the concrete plan is. I believe end of October might be when everything happens. That being said, I get to be in the gym for even longer.
Yeah, and that's the other part of this, is that obviously it's not just the fans who have tickets, plane tickets, that are getting fucked over. It's the fighters who are not going to have to train for another 6 months. So it's just incredible that we still haven't heard from the actual event about that. And here's I played one of his clips before, was it 2 weeks ago, where he dropped the initial indications things were falling apart, but also indicated that like he didn't even know who his Anissa's name was, so he barely knows what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I believe it's postponed. I don't have all the details.
So like he knows as much as us.
I haven't actually called them. We were supposed to have a phone call, but it just never happened. So
Just never happened. Yeah, it does make you wonder because like the presumption I think for most people was that once Ian got booted, that it would start getting run better. But either the people that the event managers are not good either, or they left behind such a mess they're still cleaning it up. Yeah, that's a great look on his face. And then here's another guy, Dad, who's been in all of them. There's some weird stuff around this guy. I mean, just look into his eyes. He's got those dead eyes. Look at those eyes, right? It's a bit fucked.
Oh, welcome to my face. This is supposed to be a really fast cell phone video, but now my phone is in like cinematic mode. I've never seen
Okay,
this.
already wasting time.
This looks like I'm trying to shoot a beauty tutorial.
Come on.
This is just an update on my boxing. I'm still boxing. People have been asking me all over Discord, YouTube, Instagram, what's happening with the fight. It's still happening. It's still going on. It's not happening June 28th. That's out there now. So I can say that. But the official announcement will come out soon, this week, I think. So I'm still pumped. I'm still ready to go. It's not going to happen in June. And now that it's not happening in Florida and it's in LA, that will be good for me. And hopefully people can still come out here for that. If you did buy tickets for the fight in person in Tampa or the pay-per-view, you will get refunded for that. You will get your money back.
Yeah, for the tickets, but not for the full. That's crazy.
Or the pay-per-view, you will get refunded for that. You will get your money back. So that's good. And if you can come to LA, that'd be amazing because I'm trying to set up a
So it
after
is in
party.
LA,
I wanted to do the
confirmed.
second year. I want to set up an after party / DJ show where I/Dad DJ. Dad's gonna DJ after party
That sounds like, dude, that sounds like Predator super event.
type thing. Or not even not like an after party. I don't want to make it sound like it's associated with the event. It's my own thing that I want to do where Dad has like a dance party. And I wanted to do that after the second fight, but wasn't able to set it up in Florida. So maybe now I can. So anyway, it's still happening. I'm still fighting Jago. Apparently that's his name. I thought it was Jago. And apparently he's 25. I thought he was 28. He's younger than I
So he doesn't even know anything about the fighter? That's so
thought.
funny.
The dude's literally 20 years younger than me. I started in November last year. So we're going from November to basically November again. Yeah. Oh, did I say the date? I think that it's out there now, that it's going to be end of October. Official date should be coming this week. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I just want you to know it's still happening. It's just going to be later now. And there's a city change. And there's all the other details that will come very soon. You'll all hear everything. But yeah. For my fans, for Dad and Nathan fans, I'm still in it. It's still going on, and I'm still pumped. So can't wait to do it. Also, I'm trying to fight in Misfits before Creator Clash. I've been talking to them for over a year, so hopefully I can do Misfits soon since I have all this training under my belt. So Misfits, if you're watching, what's happening? Let's go. Come on, I want to do it.
Okay. So it is in LA, confirmed. They're paying for the tickets for refund. Obviously, people are still screwed over by the flights. And this guy's going to have some kind of strange Super Predator event DJ thing afterwards. So the second thing is some like anonymous account decided to drop the contract that Froggy Fresh had with Creator Clash 2. I haven't looked at this, but I imagine there's some stuff in here that might be interesting. Budget, yeah. Okay, here we go. Purse payment. And this obviously is a point of contention because this was supposed to be a charity event and it lost money. So every dollar that was spent that wasn't sent to that was part of the expenses should be under scrutiny because they didn't send the money. Now, obviously, Creator Clash is not a 501c3 charity, which is why they don't have to actually release most of their records. It really should be if it's going to call itself I mean, that's generally the trade is if you're going to peddle on the name of being a charity event, then you need to actually conform like legally with what's expected of a charity event, which is financial transparency. Now, they didn't do that probably because 501c3 compliance is actually not, it's not like something that you can do easily. It's you would have to hire basically a guy whose whole job it is to ensure 501c3 charity compliance. But, you know, in a case like this, okay, so I guess you're not going to do that, but especially after you lose the event, you think they would have dropped something. But if there's been all this dispute about who gets paid and how much, right? And like Harley would say it was like a $10,000 stipend, but then he learned that in the first event, some people got paid more, some people got paid significantly more. Then you have some comments from Tubbo and the clip and this is from 3, so like recently, basically indicating that he's getting paid a lot. And for a guy like that, $10,000 would not be what he considers a lot, especially if it's all supposed to be spent on training. So, and then Harley found out that his opponent was getting paid more than him after he explicitly requested that not be the case. So there's a lot of like really shady shit going on with how much the fighters are paid. And so this is the contract last year, this part. A full and complete compensation. Okay, so first of all, let's throw one thing out of the way. They portrayed the $10,000 paid as a stipend, okay? Not compensation, a stipend that it was supposed to meant to cover expenses. Now, in an actual event, if you were running it correctly, what you would do is you would just have them record their expenses, like pay stubs and stuff, or not pay stubs, bank statements and stuff, and then submit it, and then it would get audited, and then they would send the money back. You wouldn't just give a flat stipend. And the confusion is kind of clarified here, because look, fighters shall be paid a minimum gross purse, not stipend, purse of $20,000 payable by check or wire transfer. So this is why you have this weird lump sum, because it was never a stipend. It was just a payment, and it's not 10, it's 20. So this is like a pretty big reveal. I mean, I never want to hear anyone talk about fucking stipends ever again. In addition to the purse, fighter fully performs all obligation, additional compensation equal to the fighter's pro rata share. Interesting. Fighter event revenue. Okay, so this is something that was also speculated, that in the first event, fighters got... basically what this is saying, a pro rata share of the gate, the event revenue. And then the second one, it was like Froggy tried to bring it up, then they said it wasn't happening, whatever. Well, here it is right here. 25% of net ticket revenue received by Creator Clash. So like you're wondering why they didn't make any money for charity. Like what's funny too is that, so when you're thinking about Creator Clash, you're thinking about expenses versus revenue. And obviously the expenses were higher than the revenue, which is why it didn't go to charity. Okay, well, not only is the expenses that are making it not pay charity the fucking galas, it's this shit. It's 25% of the net ticket revenue. Maximum, at least. Pro rata. It's a $20,000 confirmed minimum gross purse, not stipend. And this is merch and stuff too, it says. Notwithstanding the foregoing shall be capped at a maximum payment. So basically what this is saying is that everybody could have gotten about 100K, like 95K, which takes this way higher. Like, think about this. Okay. Creator Clash had an expense overrun of $250,000. That's the number everyone throws out. They took 250K from charity. They took 250K from charity. And most of that people calculated as being the galas. Okay, but it's definitely this too, because think about this. How many fighters were there? There was at least 6 fighters, and they're all being paid at least $20,000. I mean, that's the 250K right there. If this isn't, and it's not a stipend. Like, this is why you don't have a minimum fucking payout purse for a charity event. Fighter event revenue will be paid based on revenues received by Creator Clash. Okay, so yeah, this is just that. Commission charges. No other compensation, okay. Fighters shall be recovered to cover all income, sales, use tax. Okay, fine. Pay your taxes. I'm looking for anything that mentions a stipend, because that is what they kept saying was what they were getting paid. Okay, here we go. Transport accommodations. Fighter agrees that fighter on behalf of fighter and fighter's team shall be required to book their own travel arrangements. Upon submission of receipt, Creator Clash. So they did get reimbursed for travel, and Creator Clash agrees to furnish the fighter with 2 hotel rooms. So they're also paying for hotel. Really, all these. Okay, this isn't like this isn't like the UFC where you have fighters coming out of Nigeria with don't have 2 nairas to rub together, and need the help of the UFC to get out to the fight, and people want to see it, so they're okay with it. All the people involved in this fight have money. They're all big YouTubers, and you're gonna pay for their hotel and their flight. I mean, if this was a profit for an event, if this was a Keemstar event, this was sure, because you got to induce people to fight, right? But for something like this, no. You have these, again, every dollar that's spent on shit like this is money that's in the expenses column so that it doesn't go to charity. TBD complimentary tickets. I do wonder if this is how they smuggled Hassan and the non-fighters in, as they put them in under complimentary tickets. Obviously, it's not going to say that in here, but you got to wonder how in a contractual framework they worked that out. Okay, so here's the contract says they have to publicize. What's weird about this is that they didn't actually do this. There was no publicization. There was no anything. This was one of the biggest complaints about the fights, is that there was no publicity. There was no actual marketing for it. And this is postponement or cancels. So this might be relevant because I'm sure this is unchanged for this year, and it obviously has been postponed. So a doctor I wonder if they're going to count IDubbbz joining the Palestine War as a force majeure event. So the battle is delayed or prevented from occurring by reason of act of God, fire, flood, war, civil unrest, pandemic. COVID, public disaster, emergency, power failure, calamity, strike, labor difficulties, violence, threat of violence. Hey, there's been threats of violence in the whole Palestine, or in the whole Ethan thing. Or any government or boxing or athletic commission or association enactment, determination or action, regulation, shortage of adequate power, or transportation. Okay. Obviously, no. But it is funny that... So they're going to have to delay it, and they're going to have to give a reason, right? Don't participate. So yeah, none of this would be under this. So yeah, the fighters are not out, or at least the fighters could get out if like there's not like a valid cancel or not a valid postponement for the purposes of this contract. Like they could get out of the fight right now and not be breaking their contract. Is what I'm saying. Probably. The new info is the compensation. So basically, everything we've been told about the compensation is just a total fucking lie. Up until now, there is no stipend. That's a lie. There is no, we're only getting 10K, everyone's paid the same. That's a lie. And if you take these numbers and add them up to the amount of fighters, if they had just not had this minimum 20K or had gotten all the fighters to like, you know, come together and agree, which that's harder than it sounds, right? So I'm not really saying that would be the way to go. They could have totally still sent money out to it. They would have at least broke even, right? And then they could have sent $1 out, which would have been better.
But even if he did, I wouldn't care. I mean,
What? You wouldn't?
No, but wouldn't it?
See, that's like a guilty conscience speaking. When you're like, I don't care if he keeps things from me. It's like, well, yeah, because you're keeping things from him, obviously, right?
I mean, but wouldn't it still like?
I wouldn't care enough to. I would be like, well, I mean, crazy if it did, if it was, but if it wasn't, like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Ian's not into any of that shit. I've tried.
Hold on. So her first response is, I wouldn't care, which is insane, right? And then her second response is, I've tried, and he's not into it.
But I've had exes. Yeah, I've had
Well,
exes
no,
that are
I'm not
into it.
specifically saying like
Oh,
putting a
not
dildo up his butt on the
specifically.
railroad.
Well, that's so funny that Dane tries to cope and save it, and she's like, no, wait, I want to humiliate him.
I'm saying like, what if something came out where he was doing something sus,
Yeah.
but it just looked like.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, this is literal confirmation that she has tried to penetrate his butt. So it's over. Like, well, that part of it's over. I mean, no one's surprised. It's not even really news. All right, so I know you've probably just heard me say that it's over at least twice already in the video so far. But now it's the next day, and it really actually, for realsies, is over this time. At least until the event actually happens and is, like, canceled. So Creator Clash 3, they finally did the official announcement. It's at the Hollywood Palladium. This is literally what Jayla Ray said, that it would not be in June or July or even August, so October. They put out this video. Let's see what they say, what sort of cope. Apparently they have new people on the face, showing footage from other charity events that didn't make money for charity. Kino.
Hello, everybody.
So I guess this is why they were late on the drop. Why like 3 other fighters had already announced this, because they had to get these guys, like, wrestle them out of bed at 3 a.m. and make this video.
My name is Ethan Nestor. I fought in Creator Clash 2, and I won. And I'm here with my pals to talk about Creator Clash 3.
Yes, hi, I'm Alana. I also fought in Creator Clash 2 and won by a single point. Still counts.
And I'm Aaron. I fought and lost, and then fought and won in Creator Clash.
And also one of his charities was one of the charities for Creator Clash called, like, Horse Therapy, and it's literally just the Big Bungee covered this. I didn't figure this out. Is his mom's horse charity, which is literally just a property his mom lives on that they have owned by a charity for tax reasons. It's just, I mean, I can't say it's fraud because I'm sure that they have all their I's crossed and T's, or I's dotted and T's crossed, but to any normal person who, like, thinks what charity is supposed to be for, it's essentially a tax scheme. Okay.
A lot of people bought tickets for the Amelie Arena show. All those will be refunded. We will be updating you on when the new tickets will be on sale. If you bought pay-per-view tickets, those still stand.
Hope you didn't get a hotel room. Hope you didn't buy a plane.
But if
The pre-show,
Yes.
we'll have some goofs and some gaffs.
So these are the new face of the event. I wonder if they're even going to mention Anissa and Ian in this, or if they calculated that even saying they're not involved is giving them too much exposure.
Super fun. Yeah, it's going to be great. But yeah, today we just wanted to make a video to clear up some questions that people have. It's been kind of rocky communication-wise the last couple of months, and so we just wanted to sit here and clear a bunch of things up. So let's get to it.
Yeah, so one thing that I misunderstood until talking to you guys at Real Good Touring was I thought that Ian and Anissa had, like, stepped back, but I thought that meant they were still.
So no, they're gonna bring him up. I guess you kind of have to, because it is the shadow over the whole thing. I wonder if they'll just throw him under the bus straight up. They'll just be like, please, this has nothing to do with them. Fuck them. We, if anything, you should buy it now because it'll show them.
Still involved. They've actually stepped down.
So yes, Ian and Anissa have stepped down completely. There's no creative involvement, there's no financial involvement, there's no ownership involvement. They completely gave their stake to us, including their financial.
Gave their stake to us. Again, we're getting back into the equity problem. Like, you can't just give away equity to people without it being like taxable.
To charity. Like, I feel like the message is so inherently positive that it's a shame that it became this dramatic internet thing.
It wasn't a shame. It was intent. Like, it didn't happen by accident. They didn't, slip on a puddle. Like, they made a decision.
That it never should have been, and I'm just very glad that attempts are being made to fix all that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest questions that people have is about how the event was run in the past and what is going to be different about it now, because obviously the first year was crazy successful. There was over 1.3 million.
It's funny that the minute Anissa and Ian get out involved, they now are being transparent about this. It just goes to show that this was not like a collaborative failure. This really just was Ian and Anissa, and that if almost anyone else had been in charge, it might not have been perfect, but it would have been probably dealt with a little bit better.
Fortunately, it did not pan out in the way that we wanted, and there was no money.
The war is not necessarily developing in our favor.
Raised for
It's so hard, and then when I found out that we didn't, I think I cried. Like, I was so disappointed.
Crying at the $100,000 gala.
That it was very difficult to take away positive feelings from the event, even because
Gilded tears.
I was just so crushed by that news. And so when Realtor called and asked if I wanted to host the pre-show again, that was my first question: is how can you guarantee me that is not going to happen again? So what are the changes?
Yeah, likewise, we were devastated as a fighter and as a producer of the event. It was awful that happened, and the audience too.
This is more humility than Ian and Anissa literally ever showed. Like, if you go back to Ian's video where he admits a Critter Clash failed, the first thing he says that it was a financial hit for him.
Believed that with the first Creator Clash that the success of the event would be shared with the charity. So funding it through various sponsorships, but mostly
we expected the charity event to send money to charity. We were naive.
Ticket sales, and we will be doing a traditional fundraising through Deltify. It's running right now. You can donate it to it right now. We've already raised $238,000.
So it's just an event that has a donate button next to it. Got it.
$1,000, which is so awesome. That's gravy. That's going straight to charity. So every dollar that is raised for charity through this event will be going straight to charity.
Incredible. When you click donate to charity, it'll go to charity. What a revolutionary concept.
Efforts are not going to be wasted. We are going to be raising a ton of money for charity.
So yeah, they're just pressing reset, essentially. They're putting it 6 months in the future so that they can redo the promo cycle, because it just didn't even happen before.
The goal is $1 million this year. I really think that that's possible to do.
Yeah.
And the fighters are really excited.
Yeah, if you actually promote the event, yeah, it is totally possible.
It's really fun fights with some of your favorite creators for charity. And that's really what we're trying to bring it back to, is we're trying to not have any external internet bullshit. It's just supposed to be a fun boxing event.
Yeah, okay, well, the problem is, let's be real here, this whole event is about getting internet people to fight. So you shouldn't have been surprised that there was internet bullshit. What killed this event was not that internet drama got involved. If anything, you should try to drum up some basically scripted internet drama, like beefs and whatnot. What killed this event is that you associated it with the 2,000-year-long Holy War.
Yeah.
For charity, and that's really...
And was sending skulls to people.
It's so cool. It's such a wild thing to have done. Anytime I tell somebody that I had enjoyed watching positive, in my opinion.
I'm glad that... I mean, this is kind of a lame, this is lame, they're playing it up or whatever, but this is still infinitely better than what they were doing, Anissa and Ian were doing. At least they're positive, and at least they took a little bit of accountability for the previous event, even though it wasn't them. They're taking accountability for an event that they didn't crash, which is, I don't know, it's what you have to do, right? So it's not like they're just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts, but...
How hard they're training and how difficult it is.
Yeah, so she's calling out the fact there was no publicity.
Even I was confused about how fighters get paid. The fighters...
Okay, well, you shouldn't have been confused because it would have been in your contract, which we saw with Froggy Freshes. But yeah, I mean, they're basically just throwing Ian in, and it's what they should do. They're basically just saying there was no transparency, everything was fucked, and, conveniently, these are the people who just left, so who are we supposed to blame? Go off, it's fine.
You get paid.
Yeah, we want to make sure that the fighters are taken care of. Calling it, it's basically funding for training.
It's essentially a reimbursement.
Yeah.
It was...
That it would be in the contract. Okay, so they're not fixing this then. They're just going to be a purse, and then they're going to cope and say it's a stipend like before. But it's not. If you want it to be for expenses, there's a way to write that in the contract. There's a way to have people send in receipts and whatnot. But if it's either one or the other. Either just say it's a purse and the fighters are getting paid, and they probably will have to spend some of it, or have it be like an actual accounted expense.
It was frustrating having people think that we got paid for it. Basically,
Well, you did get okay. Well, the other problem is that in the contract you also got paid part of the gate. That's not for fucking training, buddy.
fighter's purse was for the thousands of dollars that we spent to train.
It's just to make sure people can do the event.
Yeah.
You can't ask creators to take all that time
Then have it in it as a stipend.
to box.
It says purse in the contract. You can't. You're pointing at a snake and you're calling it like an elephant right now.
So, you know, with the moving schedule, there may be some fighters that are dropping out just because they can't do it schedule-wise.
So what I suspect here is, I mentioned this when I went over the contract yesterday, that none of Anissa, like nothing that's happened falls under the force majeure clause or any of the other valid reasons for delay. So this is like a window for anyone who wanted to drop but was afraid that there would be problems with the contract can do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if a whole bunch of people drop. And sure, they'll say it's scheduling or whatever, but honestly, they don't have to say anything. They just have to say you delayed the event outside of valid reason within the contract. And then LA Beast drops out. I know. I mentioned this in the video, but like this would be the time to drop out, right? So due to a laundry list of and this was the other headliner. It was Harley and this guy. Due to a laundry list of reasons that will be revealed to you shortly, I unfortunately will no longer be boxing. It is the best decision. All I wanted was to put on a show, get paid. Yeah, I mean, I really do not blame him for being grumpy when he says this. All I wanted to do was get paid, ultimately raise money for charity and put on a show. Scared of the multiple red flags and irreversible damage it can do to one's brand. Yeah, no shit, man. I wouldn't want to be associated. Like, even though Anissa and Ian have stepped back, like, it's not just Anissa and Ian who are tarnished. It's Creator Clash's name itself. And the reason why is because the previous Creator Clash has been associated with basically, like I said, people accuse it of stealing charity money. Like, you don't want to be associated with that. I get it. So this is like a total disaster. How it's gotten to this point is a real bummer. Selfishness on the part of a select few has taken away from the charity aspect, and fighters who put in the sacrifice in gym training last few months. I sacrificed time away from my newborn son and wife to train. Yeah, it's tough, man. And I don't know who else he could be talking about when he says selfishness on the part of a select few. Obviously, it's got to be Ian and Issa, who had to defend themselves against nothing, against not calling out a false CPS call. And then, of course, they're putting transparency on the website, which unfortunately included the fact that in the past, 34% profit share between Ian and Anissa. So what that means for anyone in the audience that's been paying attention, remember when they mentioned they sent $1 million to charity the first event? Add 34% on top of that. That could have also gone to charity, but instead it went to Ian and Anissa, who also, at least according to the contracts, would have gotten the fighter's purse because Ian fought in those first two fights. At least now they're being open about net profits going to the fighters. Like, again, if they had just started all of this by being open about it being a profit forward event that has a little donate button, so much of this confusion, so much of the look of fraud. I'm not saying it like fulfills the legal elements of fraud yet, but like the look of fraud would not be here. And I mean, the comments are just cooking them, just saying that it's a scam, et cetera, et cetera. And then also, Freddie Wong apparently has dropped out. So this venue, I've been here twice, I think. And I'll say this, obviously it's much smaller, way smaller. I mean, this place is a glorified like nightclub, for real. Now, it's really good for music events. As you can see, it's like very intimate, right, when it's filled. And honestly, for fights, this could be kind of cool. Like if you're right here, or you're right in the crowd here where you're like, and it's full and there's like energy and stuff, I could see it being a pretty good experience. But there's no coping for the fact that this is like, I mean, the previous stadium held like, what, 50,000 people? Something fucking crazy. I don't know, multiple tens of thousands of people. And this is, like I said, like a glorified nightclub. I actually think this, I would never go to an event like this, obviously, but I could actually, cause, I not only just because I'm not interested in the fighters, but also because I don't trust where the money's going anymore, even with the new management. But I could actually see, assuming they fill this place up, which is a big if, because they're getting called scammers by everyone, but if they fill this place up, it actually being kind of cool to see a fight in this intimate of a setting. So yeah, this is the only way I could see it getting any worse is we get to the day of the event, or this escalates further, and the event is straight up canceled. I don't want it to be canceled. I didn't even want it to be delayed. I want the event to go through and then it happen and there be 3 people. My ideal writing scenario was the event goes off, Ian and Anissa don't drop out, they show up and there's 3 people there, and then Ian has to basically like reckon with the mistakes he's made in front of the 3 people who show up. Of course, that's like too perfect, right? But yeah, I want the event to happen. Not because I care about like their fake charity shit or anything, but just because I want more funny stuff to happen. But until October, I think this is as close to like the Titanic being at a 90-degree angle sinking as you can get. It is quite literally over, and I know I keep saying that every video.